Oh, hi, Janvi. How's it going?
Hey, Vanessa. I'm good. Just trying to balance my assignments and my social life. What about you?
Oh, I'm good also. There's just one particular assignment that I'm struggling with.
What is it? Maybe I can help?
From 3 weeks now, I have a debate.
That sounds fun.
Yes, it does. But I've no idea how to structure my opening statement. Plus, we're being graded on how persuasive our arguments are. Do you think you can help me?
Maybe I think I might have some tips that can help you structure your argument and make it more persuasive. Do you want to come with me?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, let's go. So, Vanessa, what is the debate topic?
The statement is social media is beneficial to adolescents. My group and I are opposing the statements.
That sounds good. Well, you can actually use the same argument structure whether you're for or against a topic. So the structure contains 3 main parts, that is assertion, reasoning, and evidence.
Okay, that sounds straightforward. What does it mean?
So the assertion is basically the claim that you want the audience to believe, and then you provide your reasoning on why you think that assertion is true, and then you use some evidence, like some facts, to back up your reasoning.
So one of my claims can be social media is not beneficial to teenagers because it exposed them to unrealistic body standards.
Yeah, that sounds good. So what will your reasoning be?
Maybe I can say that more and more teenagers are having body dysmorphia because of the overexposure of the beauty standard portrayed on social media.
Yeah, that sounds right. So now you need to back it up with some evidence.
Can I use a statistic or maybe analogy?
Yes, you absolutely can. You can use analogies, statistics, studies, and research. They're all really good forms of evidence.
That sounds pretty straightforward. Maybe I can say that there are at least 25% of teenagers in America that have less depressive symptoms and anxiety about body dysmorphia after being reduced for their usage of social media.
That sounds great. You sound like an expert already.
Wow, that was really helpful. I can definitely see how a structured opening statement can help make my arguments more persuasive.
It definitely makes a difference. Well, there are other things that you can do to make your argument even more persuasive.
I'm all ears.
So, first of all, you need to try to focus on the more specific details instead of being too abstract. What this does is helps the audience contextualize what your argument is about and gives the opposing team less chances to poke holes into your argument.
Okay, that sounds nice. Can you give an example on it?
Alright, so for example, if one of your claims is about the increase of depressive symptoms in teens that overuse social media, then instead of being very generalized in your claim and talking about social media in general, maybe you could name one social media website and talk about the mental health disorders associated with that particular social media website.
Okay, so maybe I can talk about how Instagram in particular are causing teenagers to have more body dysmorphia instead of alluding to all forms of social media causing body dysmorphia.
Yeah, that's right. Well, another thing that you can do is to use a snug premise.
What's a snug premise?
Well, a snug premise is when you use a contented point to come to a reasonable conclusion.
Wait, I still don't get it.
Well, let me give you an example. Say you make a claim that addiction to social media causes mental disorders, and then you state that teenagers are more likely to be addicted to social media. So you can come to a conclusion that teenagers who are addicted to social media are more likely to get mental disorders.
Oh, that makes it harder for my opponent to find a hole in my argument.
Yes, but you have to be careful when using this, or else your opponent can use the obviously contentious point against you.
Okay, are there any more things that I should avoid?
Well, there's one more thing. You should avoid ad hominems.
And they are...
Well, ad hominems refers to an argument where you start attacking the individual making the argument instead of the argument itself.
Okay. I've seen people do that in famous debates.
Yep, that's right. You should always remember that you're trying to convince the audience for or against the topic you're talking about. Targeting the individual doesn't make your argument any more persuasive.
Thank you so much. Now I have a much clearer picture of how I'm going to start this assignment.
Well, I'm glad that it can help.
Do you have any more tips for me to make my arguments clearer and more persuasive?
There's actually one common mistake that a lot of people make during an argument, and that is about using generalizations, which could refer to making statements such as, a lot of people will agree with me, or many people believe that, and so on.
Do you have any tips for how to avoid this and what I should do instead?
Well, although in everyday life, people use generalizations all the time, but when you're making an argument, it's best to avoid making any assumptions and stick to known facts and evidences to back up your claims.
What if I have a claim that I don't have solid evidence backing it up?
Well, that's a very good question. In a case where you have a claim where you don't have solid evidence backing it up, it's best to use a technique called hedging, which refers to the use of cautionary language, such as it appears as if or it seems as though, instead of making any generalizations.
Okay, I get what you mean. So basically, we should use words such as seems or appear like instead of making certain claims. For example, instead of saying that scientists all agrees that blah blah blah, we should say that some scientists suggest or argues that something happened, and that adds a hint of uncertainty to the statement.
Yeah, that's right. I hope now you can avoid making unsure generalizations and make clever use of hedging instead.
Yeah, that's a really useful tip. Any last minute tip?
Well, the only last minute tip I can think of is using rhetorical questions in your argument. What this does is posing such short questions will act as a mental stimulant for the audience and make them actively think about the argument you're trying to make.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you so much for your help.
Yep, I'm glad it could be of help.